Day after day, alone on a hill, the man with the foolish grin is keeping perfectly still. But nobody wants to know him, they can see that he's just a fool. And he never gives an answer, but the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Well on the way, head in a cloud, the man of 1,000 voices talking perfectly loud. But nobody ever hears him, or the sound he appears to make. And he never seems to notice, but the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. And nobody seems to like him, they can tell what he wants to do. And he never shows his feelings, but the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Round, 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 round. He never listens to them, he knows that they're the fool. They don't like him, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Oh, round, 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 round. Oh.
Hello, hi, how's it going? Oh, we don't have I just realized we don't have our background. That was an abrupt stop. I thought that our music continued on into this scene. I guess it doesn't. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to what are we? Day 3 now. What part are we on? Part 6 of Making the Donut. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Oh, hello, Melon. Hi. Yes, hello. I'm learning how to make Blender, or I'm learning how to use Blender, I should say. But yeah, wait, hold on. Take a look at the wait. Let me load up the file real quick. Open recent Ben's Donut. Don't save that. Boom. Check it out. Ready? Boom. Check this out. Okay, so here is our what's this called? This is our viewport display of what it looks like. And then if we go into this display, then I'll wait for there we go, our marble countertop to load up with our textures. And then we can also put it into a setting with an HDRI, which will take even longer to load. Is that it? Oh, this might be. Wait, I'm confused now. I'm still learning. Oh, I think. Oh, this is our HDRI here. So this is like a default setting lighting. It's like outside lighting, but if I switch it to this view, then this will just be lighting from our one light that we have here. Make a 3D model of Lucas. I'm so far away from doing anything like that. I'm just making donuts right now. But yeah, actually, on that note, I was gonna show this. So here we are, day 3, part 6 for us. I was gonna show this. This I found out was a very popular. Is the donut the base? Or is it for something specific? I spent a while working on the donut. So we're gonna, essentially what's gonna happen is we're gonna be adding, essentially here, let me show you what the final product is gonna look like. The final product, I kind of did a sneak peek on part 14, is gonna look like this. So we are making a donut. It's just to follow a tutorial so we learn how to use the features in Blender. This is like the rite of passage. So like when you're learning how to code, the first thing you ever code is hello world. I don't know if you've heard of that, but like people who learn to code, the first thing they code is hello world. Like they make the robot say hello world. So essentially not as popular, but almost just as popular in Blender. This guy's tutorials are very, very popular. He remakes it every couple of years or so to update. But this is like the rite of passage to become a 3D artist in Blender, I guess. So it's a general overview of everything. But from what I understand, eventually people find their little niches inside of Blender, whether that's going to be shading or character animation or something like that. So this guy Blender Guru gives a really nice overview of everything at the very start, and then you probably will forget most of it. But then you learn the 1 or 2 things from this tutorial that will help you in the future. For me specifically, instead of like actual animations, I want to do like visual effects. So combining live action with 3D, I think would be really cool. So that's what I want to do. And anyways, what I was going to show is there's these things called daily renders inside of Blender. So I guess people challenge themselves to do a daily render. And I found out that this is like a very popular trend within the Blender community to get better at Blender and very quickly. And in case anyone was wondering, another trend that I found out in the community is creating like this person did a 2-year progression. And it's just amazing. I was just completely blown away at how quickly people are able to pick this up. Yeah, so. Oh, I muted YouTube. Let me unmute that real quick. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit because it's just music. So everyone, as I mentioned, everyone starts with the donut. And I'm gonna fast forward times 2 speed. But like, this is crazy that this is all within a month. And I know a lot of these are tutorials, and I'll probably be following tutorials for the first few months. But as this person says, their first original project was the hoverboard, where you don't really have to follow a tutorial. I have a few ideas of projects that I want to do that might be simple, might not be simple. This one was following a tutorial. So again, these people I think put in a lot of effort into Blender every single day, so I don't know if I'll be able to get this good this quickly. This person, I guess, got into Lego. They recreated the opening scene to the Lego Movie here, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of car stuff. I want to do like, I want to do a lot of different stuff. Yeah, people use it for backgrounds and also for like locations and settings. People use it for that too. So, I was watching this video of how they used Blender.
Locations plans until May 24th by using the details and
of how they created like this whole thing right here. I thought it was like futuristic sort of a deal. And then they go piece by piece explaining how they
3D. Since
create it in Blender using
of our shot
low
and
poly
start modeling
replicas.
a low poly version of our environment in 3D.
So
Since
then
we're modeling
you basically recreate the whole thing in 3D before you can add like futuristic stuff to it. But I thought that it just looks super cool. Like
depth review in the notes below.
Like it's just incredible. It's crazy, right? And it's not hard, but it's also definitely nowhere close to where I'm at. Here's another person's progression. Oh, and of course they started off, I believe, with the donut as well. Yep. And this person just keeps going and going. Like, look at this. This is just a few months in. That's insane. Oh, this is the ship from Arrival. I just find it incredible. Cloth simulator. Yeah, I'm nowhere close to any of this level. Like right now we're just making a donut right now. In fact, we're making this donut right now. So we have a far ways to go, but it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. Kind of tedious, kind of long. Where did my snack go? I had a snack. Somewhere I have snacks. I don't know, but I have these mints. I'm gonna have a mint. It's gonna be cool, but this is where we're at right now. So honestly, not that far. But I have been watching a lot of tutorial videos. Most of it is going over my head. But motion tracking, I almost feel like I could almost do that. And if I could actually get to the motion tracking screen, which I don't know how to do that. A lot of buttons, I don't know what they do. Someone make a 2D animation. Yeah, I saw one where someone used Blender to recreate Spirited Away. I don't know if that's the same one that you were thinking of or not. How much is Blender? Blender is free. Blender is funded through donations. It's a nonprofit. Because the creator of Blender wanted it to be open source for everyone who wanted to use it. However, I know a lot of the add-ons and assets sometimes cost money. But yeah, it's free. And it's better than a lot of like other 3D rendering softwares. Yeah, it's a free software. And most of the tutorials, the donut tutorial is free. So there's really no reason not to learn it, right? I was looking today at like even possible jobs that they have. This is again way far down the road, but job openings they have for 3D artists and rendering. I'm definitely not going to be an artist though. I just really want to include more visual effects in my films, and I feel like this is a good way to do it. I've learned a little bit of After Effects, and I feel like After Effects is a good stepping stone into the 3D realm because we're in the 2D. After Effects is working mostly in the 2D, a little bit of 3D, and then now Blender's here is the full 3D. So, okay. Anyways, Blender Guru, what do you have for us today? Here's our donut. Here's his donut.
The time has finally come to decorate our delicious looking donut.
Let's go. Whoa. I did do a little bit of a skip ahead on this episode. We are working with nodes today, which is something that I am notoriously horrible at. I have had interactions or lack thereof with nodes in the past. I'm aware what nodes are. Because DaVinci Resolve in the Fusion tab uses nodes, and I've never effectively used them. I think they also have color nodes as well. Nodes are just a way to add elements and features to, or effects to your objects, to your layers, I don't really know the correct terminology because in Premiere I just click and I drag and I drop it onto the layer and then it's applied. But with nodes, you actually have to create connection points between your effects and your layers that you want to impact. Nodes, say nodes again.
Wrinkles. So the feature we need for that is called Geometry Nodes, and you can access it by going to the top of your screen. If you don't see it, just middle mouse drag across, and you'll see the tab Geometry Nodes.
Oh, wrong way. Oh, my light's in the way there. Ah. Hello, you are moving. There we go. Okay. Geometry nodes. Ah.
Ooh. So it's adjusted your screen layout. Don't get disorientated. You don't know it's still there. This screen on the left here, it's called the spreadsheet. Never needed it. Touch on wood, never will. So we can just close that, right click, join areas, and then just collapse it into it. Okay. So with your icing selected, click the new button. So welcome to the world of Geometry Nodes. So Geometry Nodes is actually a modifier. So when we hit new there, we've added in a modifier called Geometry Nodes. And what the modifier is doing is whatever we want it to. Okay. So what this nodes. So Geometry Nodes is actually the new button. So welcome to the world. Just collapse it into it. Okay. So with your icing selected, click the new button. So welcome to the world of Geometry Nodes. So Geometry Nodes is actually a modifier. So when we hit new there, we've added in a modifier called Geometry Nodes. And what the modifier is doing is whatever we want it to. Okay. So what this section down here is, this is a node-based system, and it looks familiar, right? You got boxes with little lines, and it's the exact same type of system that was used in our materials, right? But it's a completely different system. Okay. So the same nodes will not be referenced between the completely different systems. So the way this works is our mesh that we've got.
Did we already work with nodes before? I don't even remember.
Here of our icing is what is being represented on the left-hand side with your input. It's then taking that mesh and it's feeding it all the way to the right, and it's going to spit out whatever is in your group output. So currently nothing has changed because there's nothing between those points. But if I was, for example, don't follow me, but just as an example, if I was to add a set position node, drop this in here, and then change the position of the icing along the Z axis, you can see it's raised it. Okay, now the mesh, if I go into edit mode, is still there. The mesh has not changed. We're not actually moving the object. This is just happening after the fact via a modifier. Okay, now obviously this would be a rather pointless use for geometry nodes to move it because you could just move it. But as an example, let's say, I don't know, you had a scene where lots of objects, some of them are raised, some of them are not, and you wanted to quickly change them. What you could do with geometry nodes, in this case, you could actually expose this offset value by dragging it to the left over here. And when you do that, you can see it's now appeared over here in our modifier stack. What that means is whenever I'm in another part of Blender, say I'm like building stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to quickly, change the height of that icing.
I'm only registering like 10%
I've got it there whenever I need to.
Fine.
So essentially, this system enables you to build up your own tool that does something that you want it to do in a really flexible way. So it's really powerful. And before geometry nodes, I mean, Blender was kind of limited in what you can do, but I'll throw some examples here. But in the last 2 years since it's been in Blender, people have done some wild stuff with it. And most of this stuff really was just not possible in Blender before without doing custom scripting. So it's really opened up the doors. So it is a very different system, like it's a different way of working than just hands-on in 3D, but it's a really flexible, really valuable system.
I will say that I was able to, I saw a video, not a video, was it a picture? It was like a video, and then this guy had just thousands and thousands and thousands of nodes. And basically it worked as if it were like, I don't even understand. It worked as if it was like a piece of code. So like if you expanded, or if you expanded one of your objects, it would generate more patterns of that object. So it literally looked like it was creating, renders out of nothing. And it just did not compute with me at all.
So any time spent learning geometry nodes, I think, is time well spent. So we want to do sprinkles. And to do that, we need to, first of all, scatter some points onto our mesh. So to do that, hit Shift A for add, and then we're looking for point, distribute points on faces. Okay. And then it's just going to put you in a placement state. And if you just mouse over that line there till it lights up, if you click, it's going to automatically connect it.
Okay, wait, I missed that part.
And then we're looking for point, distribute points on faces.
Okay, distribute points on faces. I keep going the wrong way. You know what? I think we can get rid of this one. Can't we? No, we can't. Distribute points on face. Wow. We have dots.
If you click, it's going to automatically connect it for you. And now you can see we've got points on our icing and a density value. Great. But you might notice the icing has actually disappeared. Ooh. Now, the reason for that is we've told it, okay, take that icing object and convert it into points and then just give us the points back. Okay, so what we need to do is say, yes, we want the points, but we also want the original mesh. So we can do that by adding in a node that you use all the time, which is Shift-A, Geometry, Join Geometry. So you'll find this node in probably any Geometry Nodes tutorial. Very versatile. So drop it in here after the points, and you'll notice this input here is a different shape. So normally input...
Oh, I keep going the wrong way. You know what? I'm just gonna...
which is Shift-A, Geometry, Join Geometry.
Shift-A, Geometry, Join Geometry. Boom. Are our sprinkles back? Sprinkles still aren't back.
So you'll find this node in probably any Geometry Nodes tutorial. Very versatile. So drop it in here after the points, and you'll notice this input here is a different shape. So normally inputs are circles or triangles or whatnot. This one is a long and elongated shape to signify that it can accept
icing
multiple
was on
inputs.
top, and
So
now
unlike
it's
these where
gone.
you can only accept one, this can accept many. So what we need to do is take the output of our original mesh and then feed it over to here. And now we have both the original mesh.
Oh, interesting. Bloop, bloop. There it is. Our icing is back officially. Why do I keep going?
And we
back
have
the
our
wrong
points,
way?
and they're being combined together and then put into our output. Okay, very cool, awesome. All right, so if we were to give this a render right now, you would actually see nothing because these points don't physically exist. They just exist in the 3D space. If we want them to show up in the render, we have to tell it what do you want to render them as. So for that, we need to add an object to be our sprinkle. So your sprinkle could be whatever you want. We're actually going to make two different types of sprinkles in this donut series. So we're going to start there with a very simple one, just a round ball. So just like you would add another object normally, Shift-A, and then go Mesh, and then go UV Sphere. Now, this sphere is going to be referenced for every single sprinkle, okay? So we want to go as low res as we can get away with. So I'm going to go with
Wait, did you go
12
back to
segments
the editing
and then
tab
8
without me
rings.
Oh, he did.
If you're on a real... This sphere is going to be referenced, add another object normally, Shift-A. So we're going to start there with a very simple one, just a round ball. So just like you would add another object normally, Shift-A, and then go Mesh, and then go UV Sphere. Now, this sphere is going to be referenced normally, Shift-A, and then go Mesh, and then go UV Sphere. Now, this sphere is going to be referenced for every single sprinkle, okay? So we want to go as low res as we can get away with. So I'm going to go with 12 segments and then 8 rings. If you're on a really slow computer and you think this is really going to suffer later on, you could go even lower, but I don't want to go too low because otherwise we're going to see that jagged edge because it's a rounded form. So I don't want to go too much lower than that. But I do want to adjust the
We're on a
scale
pretty
because obviously
good
this needs to be
computer.
a tiny little sprinkle. So let's go 0.01. But I do want to adjust the scale because obviously this needs to be a tiny little sprinkle. So let's go 0.01. Okay, awesome. All right, now with our icing selected again, you'll notice, by the way, that if you click another object, you don't see your nodes because it's only going to show you the active object's geometry nodes. So if you want the nodes to just be there no matter what, if you click, because it's only going to show... All right, now with our icing selected again, you'll notice, by the way, that if you click another object, you don't see your nodes because it's only going to show you the active object's geometry nodes. So if you want the nodes to just be there no matter what, if you click
There's
the
a
pin
tiny
button there,
sprinkle.
that means no matter what is selected, it's only going to be showing you this object's the one that we pinned geometry nodes. Okay.
too far.
All right. So to reference, we need to reference that little sphere that we've just created in our geometry node system, and you can do it very easily just by dragging down from your outline up here, just dragging it down into your geometry nodes and dropping it. Okay. So now let's just create some room here. Make a little bit of space. Okay. And what I need to do is add another node
just
to
wanted to
reference
see
this
the
object,
sprinkle.
and the node is Shift-A, instances on points, the top one. Okay, and then I want to drop it in here between distribute points on faces and my join geometry. So drop it in right there until it lights up. Now the points have
Oh,
disappeared
not
because
this
we're now
again.
saying replace those points with whatever is in that instance input. So I'm going to take my geometry from my object info and drag it into the instance. And look at that. We have got our spheres appearing all over it.
Perfect.
And if I increase the density, we've got sprinkles. And if I do a render, it will actually display. Doesn't look very good, hey, but it does work, which is the main thing.
Oh, why does it
Okay,
do
so,
that? Why I don't
first things
understand why
first,
it glitches out? I could make the best 3D sprinkle ever, but why is it? It does this sometimes, and I don't know why. I can't zoom out. Well, I think I'm just not selecting the right thing. There we go. But it's super slow for no reason. I don't know why that is. Like, that's fine. Like, look at how slow that is. I'm moving, but barely. I have to like drag my mouse multiple times. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save and reopen it. I think that's what I had to do last time. Stand by. Open Ben's Donut. Can we move now? Please tell me I can move. No. Dude, what? No. Oh. Boom. We're back. We're going to geometry nodes. Why is it like this? Someone has to explain this to me. There we go. Something's working. Was it because I had the plane selected? I'm so confused right now. Okay. Where's our sprinkle at? There's our sprinkle. Oh, wait, no. No, this isn't any better. There we go. This is so janky, dude. Our sprinkle. I just need to see the sprinkle. Wait, where'd you go? There you are. It's so tiny. Okay. Is the camera angle acting up? No, because look, if I click this, then it'll take me to my camera angle. But I'm not currently in my camera angle. It's just my mouse isn't working or something. I don't know. How did we get here? I don't know how we got here.
Now the points have disappeared because we're now saying info and drag it into the with what and my join is on points. Reference this object. You click down into your geometry node system, and you can do it very easily just by dragging down from your outline up here, just dragging it down into your geometry nodes and dropping it.
Okay. We have our sphere. Now let's make sure we have our icing selected. Then we drag our sphere, into here. Perfect. Then what do we do next, Mr. Blender Guru?
Okay, so now let's just create some room here. Make a little bit of space. Okay, and what I need to do is add another node to reference this object. And the node is Shift A, instances on points, the top one. Okay, and then I want to
Instances on points. Instances on point.
drop it in here between distribute points on faces and my join geometry. So drop it in right there.
Got it. Oh, what am I gonna... Oh, am I gonna drag this to here? Bro. I didn't even see that. I just matched the color with the color. I'm too good. I'm too good. Hold on. Wait a minute. And this is the little button for the keyframes. Bro, he's cracked. He's cracked. That's crazy. Okay, but now our donut definitely has acne. Sorry.
Until it lights up. Now the points have disappeared because we're now saying replace those points with whatever is in that instance input. So I'm going to take my geometry from my object info and drag it into the instance. Oh. And look at that. We have got our spheres appearing all over it.
Is that not just what we did? Did we not just do that?
And if I increase the density, we've got...
Wait, what did he just do?
The instance. And look at that. We have got our spheres appearing all over it. And if I increase the density...
Oh, if he increases this density... then it has more acne.
We've got sprinkles. And if I do a render, it will actually display. Doesn't look very good, hey, but it does work, which is the main thing right now. Okay, so.
He has a lot more sprinkles than I do. There we go.
First things first, you'll notice that as we increase the density, first problem is that they're crowding each other. They are straight up overlapping each other with no respect for its fellow sprinkle, right? Because it's just a random distribution. So we can change that by going here in our distribute points on faces, change it from random distribution to Poisson disk distribution.
Poisson disk? Oh, yeah, perhaps. Oh. We just lost a lot of acne.
What a name. So it's changed, but that's just because it's changed with density max, so just increase it again.
Perfect.
With this Poisson disk distribution, you get this extra value here, distance min. So now if we can set a low value, we can start to delete. It's almost like each one of those points now is going to have a little radius around it. And if it detects a point within that radius, it's going to delete it. So we just need to increase it slowly, very, very slowly, until we can't see them intersecting anymore. To about there, honestly. If you go too high, like if you really wanted to make sure they weren't touching, you go really high. But it starts to look like too evenly spaced, you know? Like, yeah, it's not actually registering the other objects. It's like it's just doing this little radius thing, which just happens to be perfect for a ball-shaped object. But it's not like an advanced, like it's going to try to fill in all the gaps for you. So yeah, just kind of, I usually set it to like a little bit of clipping is okay, but I don't want there to be too much. But let's go, yeah, I don't know, something like that. We'll actually adjust this later on. I'm just doing it just for this point.
Bro, has a ton of sprinkles. I do not need that many sprinkles on my donut.
If I look at my mesh, I've got sprinkles everywhere. And if I hit Control Tab to go full screen here, if I look at my mesh, I've got sprinkles everywhere. And in fact, I've actually got sprinkles underneath the icing. And that's not good because it's actually going to put that in the render. Even though you won't see it, your computer is going to use resources to render little individual balls underneath the icing, which is not what we want, obviously. So,
I never had a donut.
Back here, what we need to do to fix this is we need to do weight painting, okay? It's not texture painting. It's a special thing called weight painting. So with your icing selected...
Oh, I learned about, I heard about weight painting, I should say, and I've just been told to fear it. Because I was learning about like bone distribution, which again, going way over my head, but eventually be able to connect bones to your characters so you can animate them easily, but then you have to connect weight distribution to those bones.
If you go from your object mode, you'll see one there called weight paint. Now, your mesh will become blue.
I heard that weight paint is terrible. My mesh has indeed become blue.
And weight paint is actually referenced in multiple parts of Blender. Like if you're doing rigging and animation, you would use weight painting
I just said that.
a lot during the rigging step to assign values to certain bones.
I just said that.
Essentially what it's doing is it's allowing you to paint a value between 0 and 1 onto any part of the mesh and then reference that however you want. So we can then reference that weight paint mask in our geometry nodes and use this almost as, well, exactly as a mask for our sprinkles. So if we just do some paint right here on it, you'll see that we have some colors, right? Now these colors aren't going to appear in the render. It's just for you to visualize those values. The blue value means a value of 0, and the red value is a 0 of 1. I believe actually in maybe not the next version of Blender, but maybe the version, I don't know, but they're planning to change the colors of this. So depending on the value, on how late watching this you are, your colors might be different here.
What are our colors? We still have the same colors. I have no idea what point it's locking onto. But it's not the donut. Maybe it's because the donut's not in the center. How do I make the donut in the center? We're close. Nope. Oh, it selected everything. I just want this. Oh. Oh. I don't understand why it does that, and I don't know if anyone ever will be able to explain that to me. Anyways, one of these seemed to work all right, was it? Set origin to geometry. And then how do I set my 3D cursor? If you want to move the 3D cursor position to the world origin, 0, 0, 0, no, I don't. I want to move it to, well, actually, I could do that. No, I don't want to do that. In edit mode, Shift S. Wait, oh wait, time out. No way, that was actually super helpful. Time out. Let's go back to object mode. Origin to 3D, no. Shift S. Cursor to selected. Oh, but we're still. No, that didn't do anything. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me try edit mode. Shift S. Cursor to grid. Is that the center? Shift S. Selection to cursor. No, that didn't do anything. Okay. Shift S, selection to cursor. Ah! Wait, that's not the center though. How many times? Cursor to origin blender. The Google thing, the Google generative AI responses are so trash. Have you guys ever seen those videos of that? How to move cursor in Blender to... Dude, I don't need a video. I just need the button. Not to mesh. Okay. You know what? I just don't want to be like, you notice how it's not centered right now and it's really getting on my nerves? I'm trying to make that not happen. That's what I'm trying to do. Also, why are we in the ground now? Can someone explain that to me? Okay. Also, can someone explain to me why we are just like randomly shooting off to the side there? Okay, it's on the ground now. But why is the center... It's okay, we're better than... Wait, do we get all angles? Okay, technically this will work. I just... Control 0? What does Control 0 do? I just did something. Oh, no, this. Control 0. Oh! Something just happened. What just happened? Oh, it took away my, Control 0 took away my, where's my donut? Hello? What was the button for material? No, what was the... Oh. Where do I see my things? No. It's one of these. Oh. What is this? Oh, the modifiers. It changed my my subdivision. So if I hit Control 0, Command 0 again. It does something. Okay, I'm just gonna trust that we have everything that we need to. Okay, that's okay. That's good enough. We can work with this. It's just not perfectly centered and it was getting on my nerves. Also, that's just clipping into the ground. But also, if I try to move it, then it'll shoot off to the side, which... And it's fine because this isn't even focused on the center. So all that was for nothing. Where's this focused on is my question. What's this center? I don't know what it is. Okay. We're going at a lot slower pace than the other days, but I think these are getting more difficult as we go on. Oh, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
So we can then reference that weight paint mask in our geometry nodes and use this almost as, well, exactly, reference that however you want. So we can then reference that weight paint mask in our geometry nodes and use...
We go... I already forgot how to get to weight paint. We're here. Weight paint. Boom. And apparently I have to move around like this now. Oh, one day I'll learn how Blender works and it won't be this tedious.
This almost as, well, exactly, as a mask for our sprinkles. So if we just do some paint right here on it, you'll see that we have some colors, right? Now these colors aren't going to appear in the render. It's just for you to visualize those values. The blue value means a value of 0, and the red value is a 0 of 1. I believe actually in, maybe not the next version of Blender, maybe the version, I don't know, but they're planning to change the colors of this. So depending on the value, on how late watching this you are, your colors might be different here, but it should be the same. Essentially, you should have a brush of 1, and you should be able to paint from 0, which would give a blue value in this case, to a value of 1. So whatever is 1, whatever is red is where our sprinkles will go. But you'll notice that this is not having any effect, okay? So we need to reference it. Now, that weight paint that we just did is actually, if we go to our data tab here, it's actually a vertex group, okay? So that's where that paint went. So you could actually create multiple weight paint types just by like creating them here. but we've just created one and it's added one here for us. So we can give it a name by double clicking it, and let's call it sprinkle mask.
Sprinkle mask. The button that says data. Oh, did he hide it? What did he do? No, that did nothing.
We'll go. But you'll notice that this is not having any effect.
Sprinkle underscore. I think it definitely is daunting.
Okay, so we need to reference it. Now, that weight paint that we just did is actually, if we go to our data tab here, it's actually a vertex group. Okay, so that's where that paint went. So you can actually create multiple weight paint types just by like creating them here. But we've just created one and it's added one here for us. So we can give it a name by double clicking it, and let's call it sprinkle mask. Okay, in fact, is it a mask? It's more of a density, sprinkle density, I guess. It's not a masking. Anyway, all right, sprinkle density. Okay, and where I want to reference this in my geometry node stack is in the distribute points on face.
Sprinkle density.
There is one value here called a density factor, which we got when we used the Poisson disk thing. And this is just a value of 0 to 1. Very convenient. So,
oh, are we going to go? I said, are we going to go? I guess not.
if I drag out from here and then release, I can add in a new node and it'll just automatically connect it. And the node that you're looking for is called the named attribute. Don't feel bad if you're like, well, how would I know that it's called the named attribute? Because it's called vertex groups over here. You think like, okay, I'm going to type in vertex group, but it's an attribute, but it's one of many attributes, and geometry nodes can do many things, so it's just called the named attribute. So anyways, all right, so underneath name, we're just going to click that box, and you'll get a pop-up or pop-down, and you're looking for sprinkle density. And there it is. Aha. So now going back into weight paint mode, we can act like an artist and put the sprinkles wherever we want, sprinkles on our donut, which is really cool. So sprinkles are typically, they're like on a plate, and then the wet donut with icing on it is just like dabbed onto it. So you get like a heavy amount of sprinkles right on the top like that, and then less around the sides. And then I usually do like a few like dabs like this. Just
oh, I see what he does. Sprinkles.
for some variance. And then also if you hold down control, that will do a, so the weight that's being painted is 1, but if I hold down control, it's going to do a negative value. And I can adjust my strength there as well, and I can just do some negative paints across it. It's going to do a negative value. And I can adjust my strength there as well. And the weight that's being painted is 1, but if I hold down control, it's going to do a negative value. And I can adjust my strength.
Oh, interesting. Look at that.
There as well, and I can just do some negative paints across it. Maybe a couple here as well.
He has a lot more sprinkles. I already said that. Not anymore. Watch, they're going to be floating, aren't they? Oh no, they're actually attached. That's crazy.
And I'm trying to deliberately make it look choppy, because I find that if you make it look too like uniform, then it just looks very boring and artificial, because the real world would have more sprinkles collecting in certain areas than others, right? Maybe it's just like wetter on that part, right? So more would stick to it, or more force was put on that part of the plate as the donut was dabbed into it, right? You just kind of have to think of this stuff, because in the digital world, it's far too easy to make something that looks predictable and boring, and we don't want that. But there we go, something like that. And you could obviously finesse it and make it better than what it is, but that's what we got. You'll notice each of these spheres have a very jagged looking shape, and that's because the sphere itself down here. Oh, I think I mentioned this. If you want to quickly zoom to an object without having to find it and pan around, number pad period key. Probably should have mentioned that before, but we haven't really needed it because we haven't not worked with that many objects. But that'll focus to that object. If you're on a laptop, by the way,
Bro,
if you hold
what
down the
is this?
tilde key, that'll bring up this section here, and then you've got view selected right there. So tilde is that key, by the way, before, but we've only checked without having to find it and pan around. Number pad period key. Probably should have mentioned that before, but we haven't really needed it because we haven't not worked with that many objects. But that'll focus to that object. If you're on a laptop, by the way, if you hold down the tilde key, that'll bring up this section here, and then you've got view selected right there. So
We're connected to our donut. That's so exciting to see. He showed us how to do it. It's not centered because I haven't centered the thingy, but at least we can view the donut. Hooray! 50 minutes, dude. This is way longer than the other tutorials. I said 3. We are on 1 right now. Maybe I need some water. All this non-work that I've been doing, I need to go get some water. I will be back.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. With song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love
Hello. I have some unfortunate news. I'm still going to be streaming for a few more minutes. Oh, there's the end of that song. I think I'm only streaming for a few more minutes. I think I'm going to try to get through this video. How much more time do we have? I think I'm going to try to get through this video if we can like speed run this. And then I said 3 a day. This is half of one right now. So maybe text message. I forgot to turn on the little do not disturb. Maybe later tonight I'll hop back on here, or maybe we won't be. I want it to be done by Saturday. If you didn't know, there's 14 videos in this tutorial, and we are on video number 6, so almost halfway there. This is hard. It's finicky, and that's what I hate, is that when I'm editing, like I remember this feeling because I was learning how to use Premiere Pro, and it feels like a snake, like it constricting around you. Like you have all this like, I don't even know what it is, like anxiety or something like that, because you're like, I just want to be able to create, and my inability to know what's happening is preventing me from being able to create. You shouldn't. And that's one of the things with like AI and stuff like that, which is going to be really helpful. I know a lot of people have different opinions on AI. I have very, very contrasting opinions on AI depending on the topic. But when it comes to like workflow and things like that, it's just incredible what AI has been doing to just help as a tool to make people as creative as possible. So that way you don't have to get bogged down by the how to do what to do. You know what I mean? You just do, right? And you don't have to get bogged down. But right now I feel like I'm getting bogged down by the fact that I don't know how to use Blender. With all that said, I'm being melodramatic because I got over it with Premiere. I got over it with After Effects. I have not gotten over it with DaVinci, but I am going to get over it with Blender. AI as a tool assist isn't inherently bad. It's not at all. I was practicing some more with AI transcripts today with captions and stuff like that, and it saves a lot of time. Yeah, so what AI has been able to do in the past couple of years to be able to take what the industry is making and then give that to creatives. Like I was watching videos about how it removes backgrounds and stuff like that. And it's the simple things like that, but all of a sudden you realize that programs like Blender and other things like that are what allow creatives and just people with hobbies being able to create stuff that they're making in the industry. And I just find that super duper fun and exciting. Yeah, it's a really, really big debate with what's it called? The whole debate around AI, but it's very nuanced, a lot of different opinions and stuff like that. 2D art stealing hurts so much, hurts the soul. Speaking of nuance, speaking of artificial intelligence, I got a new Apple Watch and my Siri just went off for like no reason. This is a great question about 2D animation. So, like, if I'm asking you, Melon, because you are an artist. If I'm not, well, not in the same medium at all. It's getting there with film, but specifically with art. If I'm creating, like, if I'm just using references, would it be okay to use artificial intelligence to create reference pictures if I'm not like using it as a final product? You know what I mean? Like if I asked it to create some sort of reference picture and then I created that in Blender, would that be a bad use of the 2D stealing? You know, talking about nuance. I have no idea the opinions of this, but like just using it as a reference, do you think that that would be okay or still no? Let me get this loaded back up while Melon is thinking.
But tilde is that key. Should have mentioned that before, but we haven't really needed it because we have not worked with that many objects. You'll notice each of these spheres have a very jagged looking shape, and that's because the sphere itself down here. Oh, I think I mentioned this. If you want to quickly zoom to an object without having to find it and pan around, number pad period key. Probably should have mentioned that before, but we haven't really needed it because we have not worked with that many objects. But that'll focus to that object. If you're on a laptop, by the way, if you hold down the tilde key, that'll bring up this section here, and then you've got view selected right there. So tilde is that key underneath your escape key.
I just clicked it and nothing happened. I have my sphere selected. View selected. Hello? Further the algorithm intelligence, but I'd argue it would learn regardless if you did on individual level. No, I totally understand that. And I feel like with the what's it called? The algorithm part of it, it's going beyond just stealing other people's art at this point. Now it's like taking other information from people. Like with the new Windows thing, if you saw that the Copilot and PCs sort of deal that Windows is coming out with, like it'll record everything on your screen and then you can opt in to allow that to help the artificial intelligence and the algorithm. And what I've seen a lot of people debating about and what a lot of people don't like is like they're not being compensated even though the information is being used. And then that same information is being taken from them because they're the ones allowing it, right? But they're not getting any sort of compensation. And the artificial intelligence is using that exact same information to turn around and sell artificial intelligence to the person who gave their information for free. So, yeah, it is interesting. I've been learning a lot more about it just recently. Yeah, I'm not profiting off of it. It's just an interesting question. It's not being regulated. No, I agree. And it's so interesting because I feel like in some ways, again, we just keep giving it information. And I feel like it's going to come to a point where something bad's going to happen, right? I don't know. This might just be like my pessimism or like my my feeling that nothing like Armageddon, right? But I feel like we're just going to keep providing it with more and more information. And people are fine with it now, but it's going to go down the road where identities are going to start being taken, like with the... I'm getting paranoid, right? This is hypothetically with like the deep fakes and stuff like that. And it's because information keeps getting fed into the algorithms. And we're all like, oh, it's fine because AI isn't advanced right now. But what happens down the line when it does become advanced? And we've just fed it so much information, right? And I feel like information in itself is inherently like there's like power, like essence to it. You know what I mean? Where it's like if you know something, then you know that saying where it's like knowledge is power or whatever. All of a sudden, you're giving this artificial intelligence a ton of knowledge, unprecedented levels that it knows compared to anything else, and it'll just know all this stuff, right? And I'm not like thinking like Will Smith level like robots taking over the world, but I'm just thinking like the people who have access to that information now because they have access to the artificial intelligence. So it's just, something, it definitely gets into like the dystopian society I definitely think of. And like people are totally open to it right now. And I'm like, what? Again, the unregulation is super scary for me. But yeah. Anyways, that's my rant on artificial intelligence.
But anyways, so this is what our sphere looks like. So right click, shade smooth.
Right click. Nope. We need to be in edit mode. Right click. Just kidding. We need to be in object mode. Yep. I knew we'd get there eventually. And there we go.
And now all those sprinkles have a shade smooth. Haha.
Never mind. I'll go on another rant another time. I gotta finish this. It's almost. I almost have to log off soon.
All right, now let me just show you a quick little issue that you might run into. If you were to duplicate your donut and create 2, and then on the second donut you're like, hey, I want to have some spice in my scene. I don't want to have the exact same count of sprinkles across both
I
donuts.
see.
Let's give a different value to this one over here. Well, you can see that they are
gonna
now
apply to
sharing
both.
the same value because this node group here is being linked across both objects. But if you wanted, I mean, you could make it its own single object so that they're not linked. But if you wanted everything else to remain the same, so that let's say you change the sprinkle at some point, that's preserved across it. But that one value you want to be different across multiple objects, you can expose it. So just like what I did at the start, if I drag out from the value I want to expose, and then I put it up to here in my group input, the empty slot, if I just release it, it's now disappeared. The value's disappeared from here, and it's now appeared in my modify stack over here.
Are we actually duplicating this right now? Because I can duplicate it if we need to. Up. I duplicate the toupee. Ah. Hello? Why is it just copying the base? You notice how it's literally not lined up even though I clicked it to line up along the x-axis? Yeah, that's fine. That's insane. Why is it down like that? Why? Why must you do this to me? Oh, there it goes. Turn around every now. I'm so done with this. Why? I don't understand. Ready? Watch this. Shifty. Cool, I can move it around wherever. If I press the letter X, it means that it only moves it along the x-axis. I can't move it up or down, which means it should stay parallel with the other one, but it's down for some reason, and I don't know why it's down. I don't know why it's down. Okay, let's... Why are we like this? G, move. Why are we like this? Okay. This is definitely not the way that they were intending it to be, but... No. Okay, we're just gonna... I know one person who works in Blender. There's a Discord. There's a literal Discord for this guy. I had the same problem yesterday, so I recorded a video of it, and then I tried joining this guy's Discord, but the Discord link doesn't work, and I messaged, and there was a new link that I found online for the same Discord server, and it's literally, there's a channel in his Discord just for the donut tutorial, because that's how popular it is. But I can't get access to his Discord because I just can't access it. So I've been messaging people, and I haven't heard back because I literally just need access to his Discord to ask how the donut tutorial works. And I'm sure a billion people in the Blender Discord could help me as well. So maybe I'll join the Blender Discord and ask why that's happening. Okay. We've duplicated it. Forget the fact that it's floating. The best donuts are the floating kind. We select our icing. We come over here. We click density to there. Where did it just save? Save to one of these. We figured it out. Oh, it's in the modifiers panel. Of course, everything's in the modifiers panel.
And now I can put in a different value. So this has now got a value of 2000 and this one is 500. So essentially by dragging it out and exposing it, it's essentially removing the value from this node setup and saying this is its own separate thing, which is independent per object. And it has a two birds, one stone kind of effect that it makes it more accessible. So in a completely different part of Blender, I'm working on my scene and I'm just very quickly giving different sprinkle amounts to different donuts, right? Like a madman, right? No one can stop me. But yeah, very cool. And that's
like
now
that.
exposed.
That's
The other
cool.
thing we probably want to do though, with that this group input here, is I want to give it a different name because density max, you know, not really that useful. I can call it sprinkle density.
Wait, how did he
give it a
just do
different
that?
name because density max, that's now exposed. The other thing we probably want to do though, with that this group input here, is I want to give it a different name because that's now
Wait.
exposed. The other thing we probably want to do though,
Clicks
with
there.
that this group input here, is I want to give it
He clicked a button. Which button did he click? Oh wait, hold on. Is it N? Yes! Ah! Woohoo! Oh, let's go. Sorry, I got way too excited about that. Hotkeys are crazy, dude. That was a shot in the dark and I got that. Okay.
a different name because density max.
Change this to sprinkles. Boom.
You know, not really that useful. I can call it sprinkle density, right? So now it's like a fully customized little node group that I could drop on any object. I could be building a car in the future, and I'm like, it needs sprinkles. And I can just drop this on, and I've got a sprinkle density value for my car, right? So you can see how Geometry Nodes, you can build something really customized for what you want, and then it's just readily accessible every time you need to use it. Awesome.
Yeah, he deleted the other one. So cool. Cool. I have to add
Now,
sprinkles to
one
everything I model.
issue that I will
yeah,
show
I
you this,
definitely,
and
I'll
actually it's
definitely
not
do that.
specific to Geometry Nodes, but this entire time for all these videos, we've been building a donut which is too big. So if you hit N in your properties, oh, that's the polygon thing, you can see the size, the dimensions.
Are we done with sprinkles? Please tell me we're done with sprinkles, dude. I cannot with sprinkles anymore. Okay, we have our sprinkles. We have our sprinkles. Okay. Select our little dude. Hit N. Is it item? Yeah, he's an item. Oh, and these are our dimensions.
Of your donut is 1.2 by 1.2 meters,
That's a
which
giant.
for Americans, oh, actually, yeah, you can change it. You could change your unit.
No, I knew it. I knew his was different size than mine because my other measurements weren't measuring up.
It's to the wacky imperial one. Yeah, 4 feet, right? Okay. Which is way too big. Okay. Now, why does it matter, right? Because, like, okay, if you're looking at this, how are you to actually know that this is 1.2 meters rather than the regular size donut? It doesn't actually matter yet, but when we get to like rendering with depth of field, or maybe you want to import other objects from other scenes, having a value that is actually true to the object will save you so much time, and it'll also make it so that your camera settings, etc., are actually correct. So that bit is very important. So essentially, we should resize this. And really, a real donut is about 12 centimeters, which is exactly 1/10 of what we've got right here. So if we select everything in the entire scene, which you can do by just hitting A.
Perfect. Huh. Okay.
A for everything. I don't know. A for all. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay. Then if we hit S to scale, okay, we're now in a scale. Oh, actually, okay. Well, now it's going to scale it, and the plane is going to be off the ground. Okay. All right. Well, let's not scale the lamp and the camera. So everything else, selecting the donut, the lamp. Okay. All right. Well, let's not scale the lamp and the camera. So everything else, selecting the donut, the lamp. Sorry, the donut, the plane, and the sphere. Then S, and then I want to scale it by exactly 10%. Now, how?
How do you do that?
Could I do that? Well, if you look in the top left-hand corner, you've got the values there. And if I went to 0.1, then it would be exactly 1/10 of what it was. But how can I get it exactly at 0.1? Well, two things. One, if you hold down Control when you're moving any value.
Our donut is a little baby donut now. Oh, and it's off the ground again. Okay. Is that what I've needed to do this whole time? I don't know if that's the correct way to do it. I just clicked control. I'm getting emotional over a donut right now. Guys, it's not doing the weird snapping thing that I was doing before. You see how I was doing that? I had to press control. I'm getting emotional over a donut. This is crazy. It's been a long day of me doing nothing. Oh my goodness. It's not snapping. I'm so happy right now. I can't even explain how happy I am right now. Okay. Wait. No. That's another way that I could do it. What? Okay. I don't know how to set it on the ground. It needs to go up though. Okay. 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 And then shift this. Okay, we have our donut and our plane and our little sphere we need selected as well. Okay, and then we scale all this stuff down to... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, we have our little baby donut now.
In Blender, it'll move it in increments, which in this case is 0.1. But you can also actually just type in the exact value you want, 0.1, and hit enter. And now, if we look at the size of our donut, click N, hit N, you can see it's 0.12 meters, or centimeters, you know. Anyway, and that's great. But there is a problem. What you might notice, I mean, there's not a problem now, but when you change the scale...
Why are my X and Y's
but
different?
there's a problem. What you might notice, I mean, there's not a problem now, but when you change the scale on a globe too, and it's almost yet, saying to the scene, that's not its real, what you meters, or centimeters, you know.
Oh, it might
Anyway.
be because I extruded, or like I warped the icing here. That's why my X and Y's aren't the same. It's because I extruded the, or like I did the little modeling stuff here, so that makes sense.
Right. And that's
I
great.
think.
But there is a problem. What you might notice, I mean, there's not a problem now, but when you change the scale or the rotation of an object, actually, it's only changed its its local scale. It hasn't actually applied it on a global level yet. So the sprinkle here and the donut have actually got a like pretend value. The scale is set at 0.2, and it's almost like it's saying to the scene, that's not its real scale. It's just been faked to be that size yet. It needs to be applied if you want to like confirm really that this is the true scale or rotation of the thing. And you do that by selecting the things and then hitting Control A.
It's Command A on a Mac, which I am on right now. Command A. Oh.
And then applying scale.
Command A and then scale.
Okay, so now we've done that, we can see something's changed. So our donut here with the sprinkles has now massively changed its
please don't tell me I have
density
to
count.
redo the
And
donuts.
the
If I have
reason
to
for this
redo
is
the
that,
donuts.
geometry nodes again. Let's zoom in here. Let's look at it with this. This density, this sprinkle density, it's again, let's zoom in here. Let's look at it with this. This density, this sprinkle density, is actually not the count of sprinkles at all. It's the density in relation to the whole scene. And the way I think of it is like, okay, it's a weird visualization, but if you've got a car and it's driving along a highway, right, a certain amount of bugs are going to hit the windshield, okay? And the bugs could be defined by here. But the smaller the object is, right, you can have the same amount of bugs going across the highway, but if it was like a tiny Matchbox car, there's going to be very few bugs that's going to hit it, okay? So the density is kind of like the density of the world, and now that we've made the object smaller, there's only 3 sprinkles left. There's only 3 bugs that hit the windshield of our donut here. So this value now needs to be much bigger. In fact, it needs to be exactly like if it was 6,000 before, it needs to be, 60,000 now. But the problem is that it's not just a value here. The distance min value has also changed because this is also based on a real world value. So this now needs to be really small. So let's try 0.01. And that's actually pretty good, I think. There's a little bit of overlap, but that's small. So let's play
0.001. I don't know what he's talking about. 0.01001. Enter. So then this technically would be our sprinkles back. I feel like we had more though. We could add more. It would take forever though. Let's go to 30,000 maybe. See, that didn't even do anything hardly.
Kind of what we want. And let's see if I can increase this. Yeah, so if I want this density to be really dense, yeah, I would have to increase it to a crazy number. Now, something I like.
This is looking like a sad donut. Let's go to 50,000. Still looking sad.
To do personally. This isn't, you have to do this, but you notice how like this number is really large. And if I want to increase or lower my sprinkle value and I'm in a different part of Blender, if I'm just dragging this value, it's having no effect because the range, like the scale of it is just so large. So what I actually do is I set it to a value that I think makes sense, which in this case is 200. And then whatever the value was before, it was 200,000, right? I do a math value inside of my geometry node set. Up between here and here, I do a math calculation to multiply that by
We're doing math now.
the value that it
We're
needs
doing
to,
math now,
almost
I
as like a
guess.
scale adjustment. So you can do it with just one node, Shift A, utilities, math,
Shift A. Utilities. Math. I should have seen what was next.
math.
Oh, math. Bloop. Oh, that's wrong. Wait. Oh, no, that's the right one. How do I... Ah! Okay, there we go.
And just drop it in here. Now the math, I said I want to multiply it, so I need to change it from add to a multiply. And math is the most versatile of any node. You can apply it, so I need to change multiply. So multiply, and it was 200,000 before, so if I want this value 200, then I just add 1,000. Yes, that's correct. Okay. So now I can very quickly change the scale of the sprinkles across the donut without having to like manually type in the value. I can just move it back and forth. And there you go. So that's it. So we've changed the scale of it to what it should be. We've got a correct density. Sorry, we've got a correct sprinkle setup, looking good. In the next part, we are going to be adding long sprinkles to our donuts because this round one is okay. And I originally was just going to go round to try and keep it simple, but there's also, I don't know, the long sprinkles just look way nicer.
They do.
But you do have to do some different rotation math and stuff.
Okay, let me take a picture of this real quick. I'm done. I'm done for today, dude. Only one video. I'm so sorry. We're not... Hello? We're not living up to the hype. Watch this. I'm going to go to my camera view, and it's going to be teeny tiny. Yeah. Okay, I'm taking the picture. Give me 1 second. Render. There it is. Image. Save as. Donuts Day 3 part 1. There will probably only be one part, but there we go. And that'll be all. Oh, hello. That'll be all for today. But I will catch you all another time tomorrow. Hopefully more videos than just one. All right, adios.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my Yes, it was